The Huguenot Rebellions were a series of uprisings by French Protestants against the Catholic monarchy. The rebellions took place in the early 17th century and were led by Huguenot leaders who wanted to defend their religious and political rights. The conflicts included several battles and sieges, such as the Siege of La Rochelle. The royal forces eventually suppressed the rebellions, but they showed the ongoing religious tensions in France. The Huguenots were French Protestants who followed the teachings of John Calvin. They faced persecution from the Catholic majority in France. Despite the Edict of Nantes in 1598, which granted them some religious freedoms, tensions between Catholics and Protestants remained high. The Edict of Nantes was an important document that aimed to bring peace between the two religious groups by granting the Huguenots the right to practice their religion freely and to hold public office. However, the peace was fragile and conflicts continued to arise. In the early 17th century, the Huguenots began to feel that their rights were being threatened. They believed that the Catholic monarchy was trying to take away their religious and political freedoms. This led to a series of uprisings known as the Huguenot Rebellions. The Huguenots were determined to defend their rights and resist any attempts to undermine their position in French society. One of the most significant conflicts during the Huguenot Rebellions was the Siege of La Rochelle. La Rochelle was a major Huguenot stronghold on the west coast of France. In 1627, King Louis III and his chief minister, Cardinal Richelieu, decided to take action against the Huguenots in La Rochelle. They wanted to weaken the Huguenot resistance and strengthen the power of the Catholic monarchy. The siege began in September 1627 and lasted for over a year. The royal forces surrounded the city and cut off supplies, hoping to force the Huguenots to surrender. The people of La Rochelle resisted bravely, but they were eventually overwhelmed by hunger and disease. In October 1628, the city surrendered to the royal forces. The fall of La Rochelle was a major blow to the Huguenot cause. It marked the end of their military resistance and the beginning of a period of increased persecution. The royal forces continued to suppress Huguenot uprisings in other parts of France, and many Huguenots were forced to convert to Catholicism or flee the country. The suppression of the Huguenots was part of a broader effort by the Catholic monarchy to consolidate its power and eliminate any threats to its authority. Despite the suppression of the rebellions, the Huguenots continued to face discrimination and persecution. In 1685, King Louis XIV revoked the Edict of Nantes with the Edict of Fontainebleau, leading to renewed persecution of the Huguenots. The revocation of the Edict of Nantes was a devastating blow to the Huguenots, as it stripped them of their religious freedoms and subjected them to harsh penalties for practicing their faith. Many Huguenots were forced to leave France and seek refuge in other countries, such as England, the Netherlands, and the American colonies. The Huguenot diaspora had a significant impact on the countries that received them, as they brought with them their skills, knowledge, and cultural traditions. The Huguenot rebellions highlighted the deep religious tensions in France. They showed the determination of the Huguenots to defend their rights and the lengths to which the Catholic monarchy would go to maintain its power. The conflicts also had a significant impact on French society, leading to increased polarization and division. The religious tensions between Catholics and Protestants continued to shape French politics and society for many years to come. In conclusion, the Huguenot Rebellions were a series of uprisings by French Protestants against the Catholic monarchy in the early 17th century. The rebellions were led by Huguenot leaders who wanted to defend their religious and political rights. The conflicts included several battles and sieges, such as the Siege of La Rochelle. The royal forces eventually suppressed the rebellions, but they showed the ongoing religious tensions in France. The Huguenot rebellions remain an important part of French history, highlighting the struggles for religious freedom and the challenges of achieving lasting peace. The legacy of the Huguenot rebellions continues to be felt today, as they serve as a reminder of the importance of religious tolerance and the dangers of religious persecution.